It is the 10th time I've been nominated for the United States Congress, and I just want to tell you, it is always very, very special. It's a high honor, and I am humbled to accept this nomination. I truly am blessed. I truly am blessed, and I never, ever forget what it means to have the honor of this position. And I thank you so much for your generous welcome, for your heartfelt support, for your friendship. I can't tell you how much it means to me. And I must say that I know this nomination was touch and go. And, you know, it's, and the suspense has really been building since Iowa. So let me say thank you to the pledged delegates, but particularly to the super delegates who broke at the end and put me over the top. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I do want to begin by thanking everyone who has made this evening so very special. And first off, the staff who have put it all together. I never know how the balloons stay up. I don't know. It's a feat here. But all who have made this such a beautiful, beautiful evening. The talented youngsters from Betsy Ross Arts Magnet School. They were wonderful. The lovely strings welcoming us here tonight, the rendition of the national anthem were beautiful. To my dear friend, Captain Tony DeBias and the Marine Cadets of America, I am honored that you were here. I was honored to join the cadets graduation ceremony last month. And it's hard to imagine a more impressive group of young adults. And I just want to say to Sergeant Rosa, there isn't any words that we can say to thank you for your service in Iraq. We're glad you're home. We're glad you are safe. Pastor Marcos Reyes of El Buen Pastor Church, we thank you for your blessings. And to the children of the ACES Village Integrated Preschool and their dedicated teachers. They led us in the Pledge of Allegiance, but they were led by Ian Henry Lamb, and who is Jennifer Lamb's son. So we're going to take pride in that effort. And Henry and Sandy's grandson. And I say to all the kids and to their teachers, their schooling has just begun, and they've already taken center stage. To the talented performance from East Haven High, Jessica, Frankie, and Gabby. And Frankie's probably going to be very upset, but I know Frankie since he's about that big, he and his brother. And there's a picture in my office in Washington of Frankie and Michael, so doing a beautiful job. And Rosa, I wish I could sing like Rosa could sing, and Vanessa. What a beautiful job they did, and if I could sing half as well, I would throw this speech out and take up a new profession here. So, wonderful, great kids. Gene Rocco, your vision and experience helped to bring East Haven's Democrats back to power after so many years. And with your outstanding new mayor, April Capone Alman. April, you are April. Thank you for Rosa, but you are April. What a difference she is making in East Haven. Thank you both for making us so proud. To all of the elected and appointed officials who are here, you've all been mentioned. I thank you deeply for all the work that you do in helping to create the infrastructure in order that we can succeed in carrying out a democratic agenda. To Quentin Phipps of the Middletown Zoning Commission, treasurer of the Middletown Young Dems. Is it all right if I call you Q? Is that okay? All right, great. We are truly lucky, my friends, to have so many young, bright leaders like Quentin who keep our party vibrant and our party full of energy. To Jerry Weiner, one of my closest friends, whose hard work this evening, his commitment over the years have made him an institution in Woodbridge and a source of counsel, not only for myself, but for leaders across the state. To Terry Elton, Terry, thank you, thank you, thank you. I always say this, I think every time, you know, you never forget, Woodbridge was the first town to endorse me 18 years ago. So go Woodbridge, yes. Cherry Elton, such a tireless advocate for Branford, for the Long Island Sound, a leading voice, whether it was Islander East or Broadwater, understanding what is necessary to make our communities economically strong and viable. You've been a strong voice for our entire community and also a dear friend to so many of us. Thank you, Terry, for being here with me tonight and for your kind words. Thank you. Nancy Simcox, I am sure very, very proud. And Stacia, I understand, is not well tonight. So Stacia is sick, but Stacia Simcox Machis, Alex Taylor, Lauren Baden from the John Lyman School, they realize, I wish some of my colleagues would realize what they realize, that dangerous products may already be on store shelves or even in our homes. They responded thoughtfully, with wisdom beyond their years, showing that when anyone, young or old, sees a problem in this world, they have the power to step up and to do something about it. And I'm waiting for those yellow ducks in Washington, D.C., and we'll show those folks what we need to do, you guys. And finally, Pat Charmel, whose leadership and compassion have made Griffin Hospital one of the largest employers in the Valley and an essential part of the region's identity. It is no wonder that with you, Pat, as Griffin's president and CEO, that Fortune magazine has ranked Griffin in the top 100 places to work in America. That's 9 years running and number 4 in 2006. Thank you. Thank you for leading the way in health care. Again, let me say thank you to all of you for sharing this evening with me. I am grateful for your support and your faith in my service, but of all and above all, I must thank my strongest supporters, my wonderful family. It all begins at home, and I owe everything that I have accomplished to their strength, to their love, and to their tireless support. To Louisa, my mom, she still reads the letters for me. She gives out the Ted DeLauro scholarships. You never know what she's going to say, but I always get the reports back about what a wonderful job she has done. To my husband, Stan, he's in jeans tonight. He's going to leave here and travel to Israel and then on to Beijing and then to Tokyo. What can I tell you? He has traveled this incredible journey with me every step of the way. And our kids, Anna and her husband, John, and their beautiful daughter Sadie Liberty, Catherine and her husband, Ari, and their precious children, Rigby, Maya, and Teo Isaac, and our son, Jonathan. Rigby, Teo, and Sadie are our gifts. They are really treasures. They give Stan and me a special kind of joy and a real hope, and I can't stop shopping for these kids. It's really, anyway. I know that my grandchildren have the whole world ahead of them, and they are lucky to be surrounded by family and friends who want only for them to succeed and to live a life that is filled with love and good health and happiness and opportunity. And that is all any parent wants for their children or for their grandchildren. It is what my parents wanted for me so many years ago when they taught me early and often the values of hard work, community, and faith. I learned it at our kitchen table and our local parish, the places in our neighborhood where people gathered to share their lives and to help one another. My father, who had dropped out of school in the 7th grade largely because students made fun of his broken English. He went on to become a proud veteran of this country. He served his community. He sat on New Haven's Board of Aldermen, as did my mother, who served there for 35 years, well into her 80s. And with my parents' example, I learned the vital connections between family, faith, community, and public service. And I came to believe that government can and must play a critical role in helping people make the most of their own abilities and meet their responsibilities to each other and to society as a whole. Those were the values that first inspired me to run for the Congress, and they are the values that guide me today, honoring the hopes and the aspirations of my neighbors and giving voice to those who have not been heard. And so I accept your nomination to run again, to serve the people of the 3rd Congressional District. And as I have said before, I take this not as a reward for past service, but an incentive to work harder, to get things done, and to accomplish even more for people, to serve and to try to make a difference. You know, upward mobility has always been a cornerstone of our country's greatness. The American dream was founded on the promise that hard work, community, and shared responsibility open doors to a new prosperity and to a better life. Making good on that promise is more urgent than ever. Today, I do not have to tell you, incomes are down while everything else goes up. Gas prices, food prices, the cost of health care, and higher education. With a steady decline, 260,000 Americans have lost their jobs since the beginning of the year. Manufacturing jobs are disappearing, and a record high 28 million Americans are expected to enroll in food stamp programs this year. And these folks get $96 a month for food for themselves and their families. In a weakening economy with almost no margin for error, the middle class is feeling squeezed like never before. They have fewer options to help them endure the roller coaster ride, and when things do not go as planned, they are on their own, with very limited protection and very limited means to recover. Unions that have played so important a role have been weakened by a federal government determined to tilt the balance against them. But a good economic plan must allow unions to be the voice for higher wages again. At a time when an estimated 1.5 million homeowners are about to see their prime, subprime mortgages reset to a higher rate, we must take concrete steps to help families stay in their homes. And we must stop brokers from steering families toward mortgages that they cannot afford. Government has a role we cannot ignore, preventing the abuse that we see undermining our whole system, protecting the most vulnerable individuals affected most directly, those people who would otherwise fall through the cracks. Because no one should be on their own. We also have a responsibility to address rising gas, healthcare, and education prices. We have a responsibility to confront our churning job market and ever greater outsourcing. And we have a responsibility to respond, to take back our government, and to ensure middle-class families have the breathing room that they need, not only to survive, but to succeed and to thrive. Indeed, we must be stronger than ever if we are going to stand up to the special interests in Washington who stand in the way of change, ensuring the same old wasteful spending and big tax cuts for big oil and the drug companies while the middle class continues to get squeezed. The people of Connecticut deserve a voice as well. Terry Elton told you how we stood up to stop the Broadwater Project when they wanted to spoil our natural resources for very little in return, but a threat to our safety and our commercial fisheries. Stacia, Alex, and Lauren told you how we have responded urgently as we learned that foreign imports flooding stores and their shelves are not safe, when even the toys that our children play with are dangerous. The government must take responsibility and respond. We have an obligation to get these big things right. It is that simple. And that has been my mission as your representative in Congress. I promise you that I will do everything that I can to honor the faith that you have put in me. There is no doubt our challenges are numerous and they are serious. But we can begin forging new economic policies that work for the middle class. Of course, nothing is more important than expanding access to affordable health care. Extending the bipartisan state children's health insurance program, one of the most successful initiatives of the 90s, and bringing coverage to 10 million new children in need. That would be a down payment. But I believe in the year ahead, the time will finally come when our nation can make a national commitment to ensuring that every American has quality, affordable, accessible health care. We must also make smart, long-term investments in our economy to create jobs, remain competitive in the face of growing competition from countries like China and India. And by engaging the private sector, investing in new and innovative businesses, creating quality jobs that cannot be outsourced, we can rebuild a middle-class America as FDR and John F. Kennedy imagined it. That means cutting our dependence on foreign oil and bringing down gas prices, making alternative fuels, yes, more accessible, greatly expanding public transportation. It is time to launch a bold, cleaner, smarter energy future for America that lowers costs, that creates hundreds of thousands of American jobs. And those objectives must apply to a new long-term vision for our national infrastructure. After so many years of crumbling bridges and congested roads, our country's fix-it list grows longer every day. And we know businesses, communities, and families feel the brunt. Pat told you we are planting the seeds with projects like the National Infrastructure Development Corporation, but we must ensure the conditions are right for them to take root and to thrive. Our current economic downturn did not come about overnight, and our problems will not be solved overnight. But our chances of success will be far greater if we recognize that we are all in this together. This principle leads us to pursue policies that get financial relief to all Americans. It is what led the Congress to pass the economic stimulus package, a first step to provide tax relief for middle-class families through tax rebates, higher loan limits for mortgages, allowing more families to get into mortgages with better terms. I am proud to tell you, and please don't misunderstand this as self-serving, but I led the fight, building on our work to extend the child tax credit, because all hard-working, low-income and middle-class families should receive at least a partial credit. And in the weeks ahead, any family that pays taxes and earned at least $3,000 last year, and let me say earned, these are working people. They earned at least $3,000 last year, will get a $300 rebate per child. That means $21.8 billion in refundable rebates for families with children, including $9.8 billion specifically in refundable child tax credits. It is the very first time that we have moved in this direction, and I credit the Speaker of the House, a woman made of steel, Nancy Pelosi, with making it possible for us to have this package. But well beyond the immediate response, we need long-term economic changes that make our economy work for all, particularly in Connecticut. Of course, I do not forget that the vision and goals we discussed tonight also reflect a nation at war. I have a solemn responsibility to our soldiers fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan, and to the American people who want to bring them home safely and soon. I am committed to reducing our troops responsibly and ending our combat role over the next year. And I am committed to electing a president who believes the same. I am working every day to keep this administration from making permanent a security arrangement with Iraq so that the next administration and the next Congress does not take office with their hands tied. I know that none of this will be easy, but I also know that if we want to seize this opportunity and bring real change, we have no time to wait. We must act now. In the past, our nation has found strength in its sense of shared responsibility. At their best, our leaders have called on those strengths. They've called on us, bringing people together, making tough choices, and affecting real change. Here at home, and as your voice in Washington, I have led tough fights and made tough choices. I promise, if you give me the chance to do it again, I will not shy away from the hard-fought battles which are still to come on the issues that touch our lives every day. I thank you for your support, and I thank you for this nomination. I am honored and I am humbled. You have placed your trust in me, and I do not take that lightly. Our nation and our communities are changing rapidly, and the next 2 years promise to be a turning point. I promise to be there for you every day, to be your voice, to represent the values that we share and the values that we hold dear. There is nothing we cannot accomplish together. So let's get to work. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rosa. We'll see you all on the campaign trail starting soon. I declare this convention officially closed, and please join Rosa for some refreshments out in the lobby. Thank you all for attending.